Why is it that as Christian women, we sometimes are so aghast and perplexed and stunned and outraged that we are experiencing problems and challenges in our lives, whether it's in our marriage, with our children, finances, your job situation, whatever? We're just like stunned and aghast and kind of angry with God, and then we sink into self-pity. It's like, oh, woe is me. Well, here's the deal. Until we get to heaven, we live in a broken world. And yes, we have the promise of heaven. Oh, sometimes it's like, Lord, come today and rescue us. But in the meantime, we do live in a broken world. I mean, Jesus said in John 16:33, in this world, you will have trouble. Not exactly our favorite verse, right? But here's the thing. God never wastes those moments of trouble and suffering and challenge. He's always so ready and willing to make something good out of that. And often the good thing he brings about is he's teaching you something. He's growing your character. I mean, I think of my own life. There was a time where my son went to prison at the age of 18. I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I can't even explain. The words don't even explain how upset I was, right? But in that moment, after a time of grief and coming to grips with what had happened, I asked the Lord to do something good in that situation. And you know something he taught me in that situation? He taught me to become a prayer warrior. Up to that point, I was not so much a prayer warrior. In fact, I kind of viewed prayer as, dare I say, boring. I know, can you believe it? But he taught me, and he inspired me. He said, the only difference you're going to make here is praying for your son. Pray for him to come to repentance. Pray for his protection. Pray that eventually I will get a hold of his heart and make him a new man. And so I became a ferocious prayer warrior. Little Debbie Chavez, who never really even prayed hardly before, all of a sudden I'm a prayer warrior. God taught me something important during that time. I think of my failed first marriage. I was married for 18 years, got divorced, something I never dreamed would happen to me. And all of a sudden I'm like, what has happened? And I allowed God to teach me something through that painful experience. For me, he taught me that I did own a part of that failed first marriage because I was a conflict avoider. And so he started to teach me new ways of dealing with disappointment and unmet expectations and being able to communicate instead of just stuffing everything until it becomes a volcano that explodes. So in other words, God was teaching me through those painful moments if I allowed him to teach me, if I paused and asked him to teach me something, to grow me during those times. This reminds me of Romans 5, where it says we glory in our sufferings. Whoa, we glory in our sufferings? But listen to the rest of the verse. We glory in our sufferings because suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. So the next time you're in a challenging situation, and you might be in one right now, ask the Lord, what are you trying to teach me? How are you trying to grow me? Because he is going to do something powerful for you in that moment if you let him.